Hello everybody, my name is Dee and welcome to Books and Quirks. I thought I would do a Friday Reads today. It's been a couple of weeks once again, just that I've been really busy with work and I finally had a few minutes to film today, so I thought, you know what, I might as well do it because I've gotten through a few books in the last couple of weeks and I thought I'd tell you about them and what I'm currently reading. And first and foremost, I hope that you're all well and healthy during this time. Hopefully we'll all be, close to other people again or not be social distancing if they can find a solution to all of this. But anyway, let me just get right into it and tell you what what I have finished reading. So the first book that I finished a while back was Carnegies Maid by Marie Benedict. This was a really interesting book. This is historical fiction based on a true historical figure, which is Andrew Carnegie. So Carnegie's Maid follows a young Irish immigrant who becomes a lady's maid in the house of Andrew Carnegie. It's actually a lady's maid to his mother. So it's, they live in this grand estate, very wealthy, kind of like Downton Abbey. If you've ever seen that, it's very similar in terms of the household. So his mother resides there, as well as Andrew, of course, and his brother. And him and his brother both kind of run the business. As you probably remember from school, Andrew Carnegie was one of the robber barons of that age. In the mid-1800s, around the Industrial Revolution. And he made his fortune. They were extremely wealthy. They were like the wealthiest family in New York City. And he became a famous philanthropist. Like if you've ever gone to New York City and been to Carnegie Hall, he founded that hall because of his love for culture and music. He gave all of his, millions, which today would be equivalent to billions, to different organizations to help the poor. And it's really interesting, this book. So this book mainly follows Clara, I couldn't remember her name, Clara Kelly, who is the Irish immigrant, and her influence helps Andrew in terms of, seeing life in a different way and seeing how he can help other people. So I really like this book. The only reason I didn't give it a 5-star was because I felt that the ending was a little bit fast, or not fast, but like abrupt. I needed a little bit more at the end. It just kind of finished, and then I needed a little bit more. That was my only complaint with this book. Another book that I finished was the last book in the first Empyre series by Michael J. Sullivan, and that was Age of Empyre. So I read the entire series with Cheryl of Sierra Flames Fan, sorry, not fan. And yeah, we read just like one book after the other. I mean, maybe there was like a week or two in between books, but for the most part, we read one after the other, and it was such a fantastic series. I don't think I need to speak about it more because I've spoken about it on several videos because I've been reading this series. It's a 6-book series, and we've been reading it since like January. So it's been a long time, but yeah, it was fantastic. The first book is Age of Myth. So the first book was Age of Myth, just to kind of show you real quick. And this follows humans, which are called runes, and Frey, which are these godlike, this godlike race across the river. And the Frey are looked upon as gods and immortal until the beginning of the first book, when one of them gets killed, and it goes from there. I mean, it's just a fantastic fantasy series, in my opinion. I finished also a couple of audiobooks. So I think the last time I did a video, I spoke about how I was listening to a book called Quakery, A Brief History of the Worst Ways to Cure Anything. Or everything rather, and it's by Lydia Kang, and this was really interesting. It's kind of like all of the grotesque and awful ways that doctors and people did to cure different illnesses and ailments throughout history. And they spoke a lot about Tudor times and things like that, and it was just fantastic. In my opinion, I really like these weird types of audiobooks. If I'm going to listen to an audiobook or a nonfiction book in general, even if I'm going to read it, I always like kind of the weird topics. And in the same vein, I listened to another audiobook called If Walls Could Talk, An Intimate History of the Home by Lucy Worsley. Worsley. If you don't know, Lucy Worsley is like a famed historian. She's always narrating documentaries and everything. And this was also pretty grotesque. Basically, it went through the history of what living rooms were used for, what bathrooms were used for, and all of these different things. And it's just amazing the things these rooms were used for throughout history. So I really listened to that audiobook in like 3 days time because I just couldn't stop listening. And it was just fantastic. And I really love, I knew I would probably love it because I like Lucy Worsley anyway, because I listened to some documentaries that she narrates, and she's very knowledgeable in all things history. So yeah, I listened to that audiobook as well. So I'm currently in the middle of 2 books that I've just recently started. The first one is a Stephen King book, and it's If It Bleeds. So this is his newest release that just came out like a week ago. And Stephen King, it's one of his like horror collections, and it's a collection of 4 short stories. So yeah, I'm really excited. I've just barely started it. So I'm really excited to get into it because, as you probably know if you've watched any of my videos in the past, I love Stephen King. I really admire him, and I love his writing. I love his storytelling ability. And like I said, he writes a lot of different types of novels from different genres, but this one is a horror as far as I can tell. So yes, I'm going to be reading If It Bleeds by Stephen King, and we'll see how I like the 4 stories. The next book that I just started was Snow Like Ashes. This is a YA novel by Sarah Rash. I don't know how to say that last name. It always confuses me when it has like two vowels, 2 A's next to each other. But this book I just recently started as well, and it is a kind of dystopian-ish fantasy book. It has to do with a kingdom of winter where all of their citizens have been enslaved, and they don't have any magic, and they're kind of downtrodden, and they're used as slavery basically, and they're trying to they want to reestablish their monarchy, but they have to be in hiding because those that aren't in hiding do become slaves. So it follows a young woman. They're 16. This is a YA novel. So it's Mira and Mather. Mira is the girl, Mather's the boy, and Mather is destined. He is the prince, basically, on the run, and they live in these tents, and basically they want to rediscover their magic that is held in this ancient locket, which they're looking for. So once they can reestablish their magic, they'll be able to, kind of take over their kingdom again. So that's all I know about it. And I know most of it from the back because I'm only like 50 pages into this book, so I'm not that far at all. But I've had this book on my shelf forever, and I decided to finally give it a go. And, before summer gets, before it gets too hot, because I don't like to read these types of books, heavy fantasy in the summer usually. So while it's still a little bit cool out and summer weather hasn't, fully arrived yet, I thought I might as well give this a go. So this is a trilogy, I believe. I think the second book is Ice Like Fire, and I don't know what the third book is called, or if it's just, I don't know what the third book is called, but but I think it is a trilogy, and I can't wait to get more into this. So that is it for now. Those are the books that I finished in the last couple of weeks, the books that I'm still reading. A heavy portion of it was audiobooks, but they were a lot of fun to listen to. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope you have a good weekend despite the quarantine that we're still all in. I hope you still, are able to go out and get some air, get some sun. Hopefully it's nice this weekend. I don't even know what the weather is supposed to be like. But I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.